Okay.
Irony is something that when something happens in a story that you don't expect, when it's the exact opposite from what's expected, that's called irony. And sometimes writers use irony to show humor in a story. Because when the unexpected happens, sometimes that's funny. You don't expect it. And that's what this little story does. So what I'm going to do is read you a story from this book and see if we can figure out what the irony is, what's unexpected, what you expect to happen, and what happens that's unexpected, okay? The book's called Frankenstein Makes a Sandwich and Other Stories You're Sure to Like, because they're all about monsters, and some of them are also about food. You like food, don't you? Well, all right then. And it's by Adam Rex. So let's get started. We're going to read the first story, and it's also called Frankenstein Makes a Sandwich. It's a bunch of little stories. And he's written a lot of good little books. A lot of them about monsters, and a lot of them about food. Because he wrote another book called Frankenstein Makes a Cake. But for our use, we're going to use Frankenstein Makes a Sandwich. So let's get started. When Frankenstein prepared to dine on ham and cheese on wheat, he found instead he had no bread, or mustard, cheese, or meat. What could he do? He thought it through until his brain was sore, and thought he ought to see what he could borrow from next door. Do y'all know who Frankenstein is? So everybody knows who Frankenstein is. What do you think's going to happen when he goes to see his neighbors? That's right, probably. A monster, eat, the people shriek. Oh, make him go away. The angry hordes unsheathed their swords, pulled pitchforks out of hay. His neighbors gawked as Frankie walked the paths up to their porches. Each time he tried, the folks inside would chase him off with torches. Do you think he's going to be able to borrow stuff to make a sandwich? Definitely not. They threw tomatoes, pigs' potatoes, loaves of moldy bread. And then a thought struck Frankenstein as pickles struck his head. It's true, at first, he thought the worst. His neighbors were so rude. But then he found that on the ground they made...
John Boggs, come to the office, please. John Boggs.
But then he found that on the ground they made a mound of food. He piled it high and waved goodbye and shouted thanks a bunch. Then stacked it on a plate and ate a big, disgusting lunch. So do you guys know what happened there? What?
He got off
Exactly. But first he went to visit his neighbors, and what did they do?
They threw food to me.
Yeah. But he went to borrow food, and they threw food at him, so what did he end up getting to do anyway? But did you expect that he'd get to make his sandwich when he leaves off? No, see? And that's ironic, because you don't expect him when he sees his neighbors to get to make his sandwich. But he does. Do you want me to read you one more, and we'll see if we can get a little more idea of what's ironic? Do y'all know who the creature from the Black Lagoon is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he lives in the water, right? This is called The Creature from the Black Lagoon Doesn't Wait an Hour Before Swimming. The creature from the Black Lagoon went back into the bog too soon. Too soon, his doting mother cried. You just ate lunch. Come back inside. The Black Lagoon is dark and damp. You're going to get a stomach cramp. Just think of all you had for lunch. A squid, 3 eels, Hawaiian punch, a bag of chips, a crab ganache, a peanut butter jellyfish. You have to wait an hour more, she shouted from the kitchen door. Alas, the creature never heard. He hadn't listened to a word. And rushing to the water's bank, he dived into the dismal dank. Then gurgled, got a cramp, and sank. So what was unexpected that happened there? Would you think the creature from the Black Lagoon would drown? No, you wouldn't. See, it's unexpected, so that's ironic. You think he'd go in and he'd be fine, but he was not. Do you think you guys have a good idea of what irony is? It's when the exact opposite of what's expected happens, right? Right. Well, that's it for me. I sure do appreciate your time, and I'll let Miss Cottle have you back.